you know you're in for some shit when even the B-list and C-list stars of the movie are phoning it in just to collect a paycheck. We watched Camp Dread. We watched it so you don't have to. So you know what time it is.
Horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, Moon Goons! Welcome to Horrible Horror, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary. I'm your host, Mr. Marshall Hampton. With me today on this very hot and balmy day in St. Louis is my best friend, Mr. Co-host, Mr. Aaron Southworth.
Hello, Marshall. I'm full of energy. Woo! I just got done watching this movie. I can't believe it. I just watched Camp Dread, and
I wonder what Aaron thinks about this movie. Hey, Aaron.
Huh?
Yeah, we're on the air.
Oh,
We're on
I
the
was
air.
just having a dream. I just having a dream. I watched a good movie.
Oh.
Why'd you wake me up? Why'd you do that to me, Marshall?
I'm so sorry. It's just,
Oh, God.
didn't realize you were having a good dream, or I would have
yeah.
let you sleep a bit longer. Yes, we watched Camp Dread this week. Yeah, so it was released on May 19th of 2014. I found it on Amazon. Aaron, did you find it there too? Anywhere else?
I use the Microsoft Xbox thing.
Microsoft. Okay.
Yeah.
It's runtime, straight up like hour and a half movie. It was written and directed by Harrison Smith. The cast, I'm not going into a whole lot of detail on
There's
this
only
cast.
one
There's
we
only-
need to know.
There's two people you need to know.
Nah, there's just one.
And the first being Mr. Eric Roberts is
Woo!
in this movie. And then Danielle Harris is credited. She's featured on the cover and given like almost top billing. But she's only in the movie for like 5 fucking minutes, and it's so disappointing.
No, we just need one. We need Eric Roberts. Best of the best. Hello?
Yeah, fuck you, man.
Come on, but that's...
I know who he is, but this is a goddamn horror podcast, and we're going to talk about Danielle Harris. I love Danielle Harris.
Best of the best. That's the movie he was in.
I know what movie it is.
And it's so great because he's the best of the best.
You keep saying that. It's like, I know what you're talking
Doesn't
about.
make it real, Aaron. All right, so the other gal, what was her name again?
Danielle Harris.
Okay,
is in this.
now what's her fame?
Most horror fans are going to know her, but she got her start in as Jamie. Yeah, Jamie Lloyd in Halloween 4 and 5, and then she came back and did the remakes with the Rob Zombie stuff. And she's just done a ton of other horror movies, like
Right.
the Hatchet series. She's been just See No Evil too. I mean, just
Right.
tons of horror stuff. And that's the other person for horror fans that will recognize is Felissa Rose. She's kind of famous in the horror world, and she got her fame because she was the original Angela in the very first Sleepaway Camp movie. That's where she got her fame,
Yeah.
and she's done just a lot of other B horror movies too, just mostly all horror movies. The only thing to note about the rest of the cast is that most of these people, even though are kind of no names, many of them also appeared in the same movies called 6 Degrees of Hell, Zombie Killers, Elephant's Graveyard, and Hallows Eve, which is also Danielle Harris. But a lot of the cast were all in those movies as well. And that's what I'm going to talk about for the cast for this week, because it's just...
Yeah.
So the movie opens right away with just a montage of like audition tape footage of people wanting to be on like a reality show that's called Dead TV.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of hot 20-somethings basically doing enrolling into this program.
Yeah, or,
essentially.
yeah,
It's like
trying to be
like a
cast. It's like a
cast,
real
yeah,
world, like,
yeah.
you know, like or any other
What makes
reality
you
show.
special?
Yeah.
Describe yourself in 3 words. Bleh.
Yeah, and it's just a montage of all these going on. After this, we cut to Eric Roberts, who's jogging out in the middle of nowhere, and he has a cell phone in his hand, which I thought was a little weird because, first of all, you're out in the middle of nowhere, and two, I don't go jogging or like working out and just hold my cell phone in my hand the whole time. Like, It just seems odd.
Yeah, I mean, I've jogged with my cell phone in my hand because it's falling out of my fucking pocket. So, I mean, I get it, but I'm also listening to music or something.
Yeah, if you're
you
listening
know?
to music or headphones or anything like that, I get it, but he has no headphones on. He's not listening. He's just...
He's waiting for a call. He's
And-
waiting for a call. Doesn't he have his sunglasses on, too? Yeah. Like,
Probably.
Very leisurely jog here.
Yeah. So anyway, he does stop mid-jog to listen to his voicemail. The phone doesn't ring or anything. He just stops to listen to his messages mid-run, which, again, is another really odd thing to do because he just... It doesn't ring. It's like you've been there for a while. You know this. Why check it in the middle of your run? So now we roll the opening credits, and Roberts is now at some small town diner, and enter Danielle Harris, and she's the town sheriff in this small town, and they talk and some background crap where that we learned that Danielle Harris's brother is one of her deputies, and he's outside in the truck or something. And apparently Roberts knew Danielle's father from way back in the day.
Yeah, he's comes and goes out of this town quite a bit.
Yeah, because apparently this Eric Roberts' character is, I guess at this point, a washed-up movie director who basically got famous for doing a series of horror movies in the 80s called Summer Camp, which is, kind of like a sleepaway camp or Friday the 13th. And I guess this town is... where they originally shot the films.
So he's always been around. People get to know him. He shot films in there, and you find out that he's had a kind of a nice relationship with the sheriff, which was the father of the two.
Yeah, I don't know
sheriffs.
I don't know if he was sheriff or not, but I don't remember that part. But yeah, they had some kind of relationship. Now, during this conversation in the diner, Danielle Harris does say she never watches horror movies.
She hates horror
because she
movies.
thinks they suck and they're awful. And yeah, so I mean, there's the big irony there.
Nice day we're having.
Oh, yes!
What?
He said nice day, but he covered with rain.
So?
So he said it's when your brain know it's not really nice day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yes, he said the opposite. It's funny.
Yeah, I get it. Nice day.
Oh, now you funny too. Oh.
So irony.
Yeah, irony guy, right there. So after this, we go to the introduction of this character named John, who apparently he worked with Eric Roberts in his past movies in some capacity.
And John, man, talk about a tight shirt. Man, that guy's got a tight shirt on.
Yeah, he does.
And
And
he
it's
looks
not
like
like he's a big muscular. He's just like a scrawny, like
He's
he looks like your accountant basically.
He
But
looks,
he's
he looks
more like,
somewhat fit, but damn, he's really trying to hold on to his youth. I mean, he's going bald as a motherfucker. He's got a goatee, I guess, which was hot in the 80s, and his shirt is about as tight as it could be. I mean, it's like wetsuit tight. You can see his little smuggling raisin nipples there.
oh. So Roberts mentions that he has, they're talking about this, and they meet up at the summer camp where the film is going to take place, and they mention Robert says he has 24 cameras set up in like a 2-mile radius, and most of them are just attached to trees. They're like they're hunting cameras basically that I remember seeing these used all the time, like Destination Truth to Josh Gates, the old sci-fi show, which I really enjoyed. But or like hunters, like they'll track wildlife. They put them on cameras, like deer or whatever. I don't know. Did you look like you have something to say? Did you?
No, I'm just thinking this. Like, so you got 36 cameras in a 2-square-mile radius, right?
That would be 3 dozen.
Isn't that what they said?
2 dozen.
Oh, so it's 24?
Yeah.
Only 24 cameras.
Yeah.
In 2 miles.
Yeah. It's not a lot.
It's not a lot of
No.
coverage.
And the thing is, like, as it probably comes up a little bit coming up, but there's no crew for this show. I mean, it's just
Exactly.
It's just the
That's what
cameras
I'm just-
that the people wear, and then these like cameras that are set up on trees. And most of these cameras, if I'm correct, I could be wrong, but most of them, they're not video cameras. They're still they take
Right.
like a snapshot like every like few seconds or motion if like something goes off in front of it, it'll take a picture.
It's pretty shitty.
It's really
It's
shitty.
a really shitty
It's
concept.
super shitty.
I mean, it's like, okay, concept is okay, you got cameras everywhere. How many? 24. Okay, in like the house? No, in a 2-mile radius. Huh? What?
Yeah, there's a
Come
lot.
on.
There's a lot of dead space out there.
Jesus.
So Roberts then takes John to like the control room. Again, yeah, this is where he tells him like there's no formal crew, and it's just Eric Roberts, this John guy, and then this girl Rachel, who hasn't shown up yet, are like the only 3 people that are going to be involved in this thing, other than the contestants. The
Yeah,
kids.
that's your crew.
Yeah.
3 people.
3 people, and technically, from what I understand, none of them are really, except for Eric Roberts, not like crew, because I think the other 2 people are both actors in the movies.
Or
I think.
well, no, I think old tight shirt was like behind the scenes.
Was he? 'Cause I thought at one point they said he was the killer in one of the movies. So.
No, that was the chick.
No, she was.
She was the killer in number 2.
Yeah, well, I thought they said John was the killer in number 3. It doesn't. Who fucking
Doesn't
cares?
fucking matter.
So John, he shares shares his concerns about these kids / contestants because basically they're all like troubled youths and who need like real counselors and real help, not this make believe bullshit.
So yeah,
and then this is where we learn that Eric Roberts is using this show as like the blueprint for a remake of his '80s movie. He wants to bring it back and remake it, and using this as the blueprint for it. Now we cut to this SUV pulling up at a small town gas station, and we meet most of the kids and contestants in this scene. So basically, I just say we start meeting the fodder at this point.
Yeah, basically.
Most of these kids are pretty much all void of any kind of character depth or personality.
Oh, the acting is so dead.
Yeah, they're one-dimensional characters. They're one-trick ponies, one note. We have Adrian, who's like the brooding loner girl who's like, I pout by myself. And then we have the bitchy girl, Katie, the pretty blonde who turns to be a lesbian, Sarah, the possibly closeted and homophobic jock, Novak. And then we have horny perv, smart-ass guy named Vinny. And then we have just plain old boring Matthew.
Good old boy Matthew.
Yeah, who for some reason, why this guy, if everybody's so trouble, he's like the most normal guy here. He does not belong to this group at all.
He's got some man titties on him.
Yeah, and I want to try to remember.
He's got some manograms on him.
I hope you can remember this, but when we get done to this, I want to come back and talk about Matthew when we learn about stuff for in the movie. So they all arrive at the camp. They're greeted by Roberts, and the next scene is Roberts is giving them a rundown of the show and whatnot. And then, but all of a sudden, like the number of the kids just grows. All of a sudden, all the kids we saw,
it's like a whole new SUV.
It's like a whole 4 more characters pop up out of nowhere. Just they're not there, and then they're there, and so we now get scenes of each kid going into their respective cabin. And Roberts is watching them in the control room. Now, again, this is really fucking weird, and I don't think would ever happen. But each kid got their own cabin. And you've never seen a reality show. Like everybody's like bunked together, so everybody's in the same room.
That's where you make the
That's
drama.
where the drama comes.
Yeah,
everybody's just off doing their own thing.
Get off my bunk, motherfucker.
Yeah,
it's
in tight quarters. You keep everybody together. Everybody's got their own fucking cabin.
Yeah, sweet. It's like if I need a detox, I'm like, I'm gonna go back to my room.
Yeah, because half the people think this is like there was like most people say it was it was either come to do this camp or jail or rehab.
Yeah, so it's like this is the type of quality of person you have. You basically either they're going to go to jail or they're so drugged out that they're going to go to rehab.
Yeah. Or they get go on a reality TV show. That's like,
sure,
what?
Sure. And, again, coming back to it, jail or rehab, so you think they'd be junkied out, right? And, like, wanting
or like
booze
just straight
or
up
drugs or...
and,
but it's like... There really wasn't anyone going, man, I really need some fucking
There
heroin.
was no
or
drugs
I really
in
need
this
some
movie.
booze.
There's no drugs. Nobody drinks. There's no drinking. There's no booze. I mean, I get
there's more exercise in this movie than there is drinking.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's supposed to be rehab, so there wouldn't be in that, but it really makes no sense.
Yeah.
And the other thing that would make sense is even if, like, okay, there's a girls' cabin and a boys' cabin. Okay, keep this in the 2 cabins for each sex, but again, everybody has their
cabin.
own.
Sweet.
So, and in the cabins, they each find a digital picture frame that's preloaded with like pictures of themselves and a script. So again, which is weird because this is supposed to be a reality show. Why the fuck is there a script?
Well, he does say, or like Eric Roberts at one point, he does say, there's no such thing as reality TV. It's scripted down to the last detail.
Yeah,
he says that in the diner with the sheriff.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah. Okay, he does say that. That's right. So, but anyway, brooding Adrian. She doesn't care for her picture frame. She sees a picture and she throws it across the room.
She's really bothered by it.
Really bothered by it. And so let's mention one of the new contestants who magically appeared is a one-legged black man. He has one leg.
Man, you want to talk about double dipping and diversity.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you got the black guy, and then you got he's handicapped, too. It's like, come on, this
Yeah.
poor bastard. You know?
So we have one leg black guy, and then we also have...
So I got a question. Did you do any research on him? Is he actually at one?
I wish you have to... I did not research that far into him, but I would just...
By all appearances, it sure does
sure
look
looks like
it.
it, yeah.
So
Like,
good on him.
Because we see him without the leg on several times, and you see this stuff. I'm thinking it's pretty legit.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong, but who knows?
Looks good.
So, and then besides one leg black guy, we also have like guy. I just call it guy with good hair, just because in his audition,
That's
he was
his
like,
audition.
he's like, I have good hair.
hair.
Who he seems sick. He's the one who seems like he's the only one going through any kind of drug withdrawals because he's like kind of sick when you first see him, like hungered over, looking a little sweaty. Other than that, everybody else is fine. And there's a black girl who dresses like a goth or a dominatrix girl or something like that.
I like her.
And that's based. And then there's I think another guy who, but I don't fucking know about him. And so
that basically tells you the quality that we're getting into
exactly,
here.
yeah. So we're
Like, unless you don't have a striking difference, like missing a fucking leg or look like a dominatrix, you're going to get whitewashed right over.
yeah, that's exactly what pretty much it is.
There's none of these people have fucking personalities at all.
They're one trick ponies. So we're taken to this large empty wooden building where Roberts is like, well, I guess this was like the dining hall or something. Like it's empty right now, but it's like a big meeting place. And he's talking to all the kids, and and this is where he says you're here because you're jail or rehab, blah blah blah. And during his speech, he tells them that the winner of the show will get $1 million, and that the head counselor is Rachel Steele, who was the star of his movie Summer Camp. And the black girl, she about has an orgasm about hearing this news.
So she's a horror. She's a horror head. She loves horror movies.
She loves
so
horror movies.
she would maybe be a fan of this podcast. Who knows?
Yeah.
But she's a big horror fan, so that's cool.
Yeah.
You know?
So she's like giddy over the fact that Rachel Steele is going to be here. So Roberts now gives them like a walking tour of the facilities, which includes a walk-in freezer that is turned off and has a broken latch. And he warns them, stay away from it. Don't go in there.
Foreshadow.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Just a touch of foreshadowing, right?
Yeah. So he also warns them about bears, which is bullshit because they never come back. I would love to have seen a bear kill somebody in this movie.
He really emphasizes how there's black bears.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's 400-pound black bears, which is actually small for a black bear.
Yeah.
You know, these motherfuckers get up to about 800 pounds.
Actually, I thought black bears were smaller. I thought brown bears...
They are smaller, but brown bears, Kodiak bears, grizzly bears...
Kodiaks are giant. They're
they
like the
can
biggest
get
bears. Those are
fucking
gigantic.
Those
Yeah.
can get to be like 1,200 pounds.
Okay, so... Yeah, but again, like, we don't see any animals in this movie. They're out in the middle of, like, the wilderness. No bears, no fox. There's nothing.
Not even a, bug, really. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty devoid of wildlife.
And then he also tells them that they're pretty much unsupervised. He tells all these unsupervised and troubled kids that there is a handgun with ammo in the main desk in the boathouse. What?
Why would you
What?
tell them that?
Yeah, it's like, hey, kids, that you should be in jail.
Hey, troubled youth
Yeah. Why,
who have
here's
like anger issues
yeah.
and impulse issues.
Homicidal tendencies.
Yeah.
There's a gun with ammo right there.
It's unlocked. If you need it,
Yeah.
that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Just get heads up. Huh? What are you talking about?
This whole show is like a giant lawsuit
Right.
waiting to happen.
Oh, man.
So, smart ass pervy guy says he wants to get caught on camera jerking off, and not just jerking off, but jerking off like hardcore, like sweaty, red faced, and I don't know why, but that's his thing. Like, I want to get caught on camera, so it goes viral, and that's his claim to fame.
That's retarded because
Yeah.
anybody can do that anytime.
Yeah, you don't. You can do that on a webcam and just put that on YouTube.
We can do
if you
that
really...
right now together. And guess what? No one's going to watch.
So now, sick guy with good hair. He's saying, I don't want to stay here. That he needs real rehab and not this reality show bullshit.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's like the one guy. But of course, they say he has to stay because if one person forfeits, everyone loses the money. And this is when angry homophobic jock Novak loses his shit hearing this, and he just unloads on good hair guy, threatening him and saying, I'll kill him if he causes me to lose out on the money, and just getting angry, just irrationally angry. And Rachel now finally shows up. She's dropped off by her driver. And we go back to good hair guy sneaking out of his cabin with like his backpack and his stuff, just all of his stuff, and he just walks out into the woods. So he's like he's like, fuck
He's
it.
making a break for
Yeah,
it.
he's trying to go.
He wants to get off drugs.
Yeah, so I can't blame the guy. So as he's walking through the woods, he stops to see if his cell phone has any reception. And from out of fucking nowhere, he just gets Denised, meaning that he gets a shot to the eye by a fucking arrow. Spoiler alert, but that's you should know up on that.
What happened? He got killed out of nowhere? I was actually falling asleep while I was watching this, and I heard the scream. Like, ugh! I just woke up. I mean, this whole time they're talking and doing stuff, it's so dry. The acting is so shitty. I'm just like, ugh. And all of a sudden I heard, ah! I'm like, just woke up. Like, what the fuck happened? I had to rewind it because I was falling asleep.
That's so bad. So we go back to Roberts and John and Rachel. They're talking in like Robert's cabin and about good hair guy walking off. Like, oh, he walked off. Roberts doesn't give a shit. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I will fuck him. And then John's like, that's pretty fucked up. Got a lawsuit. We got to find this kid. And then Rachel accuses him of like messing with these troubled kids and like you're just doing this to mess with these kids. They need real help. And then Roberts is like, he throws it right back at him, saying, "You two made a career in my movies, slashing and hacking up kids and messing with their minds. So how dare you tell me what?" I'm like, "What? That has nothing to. That was fake. These are real
fiction.
Kids.
This is reality.
Yeah,
or these are real people
who need serious help." And so Rachel mentions that that's why she left the business. Like, that's why I left because I went back. I went back to school to become an accredited, legit counselor, which she's really shitty at.
She's
she's
fucking
really
worst counselor I've ever seen.
Yeah. Now during this, we see all the dirty laundry that comes out between all three of them here.
Yeah,
they're all the baggage, dirty little secrets come out.
They're all bitching at each other.
Yeah, and they basically it's like they're not really as close or friendly as they originally appear to be, or you think they are.
Last word, John. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So eventually, John says, "That's it. I'm out. I'm quitting. I want nothing to do with this," and he leaves.
Last word.
Fuck
you.
So
That's what he says. He's walking away. I'm like, that's weird.
So Rachel chases after him, trying to get him to stay, but he's like, "No, I'm leaving." So at this point, we go to Rachel's first group counseling session with the kids. And this is where we start finding out just why these kids are here and what makes them, quote unquote, troubled. And the rundown goes as this.
So this is the counselor doing this, by the way.
Yeah, this is the counselor.
This is the counselor doing this.
Yeah, so much for like privacy, privacy acts.
We're going to air out everyone's dirty laundry in front of everyone.
Yeah. So Katie, the bitchy girl, she was caught having sex in her parents' bed. And it turns out she had an abortion because of it. And she posted it on Facebook, which pissed off her father because the father is supposedly a pro-life judge. So that's why she's here.
So why would she go to jail?
Exactly.
Don't know.
And she's not on drugs. So, again, it makes no sense.
There we go.
Novak, they say he has a possible homicide involvement. That's it. That's all we know.
He's
a person of interest.
He's
maybe,
got some trouble with the law.
But even if he was if he was suspected in a homicide, especially if it was an ongoing case, I don't think they would let him go do this. No. He would be like, "You guys stay here."
No, motherfucker, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah. And now Sarah, who brought her girlfriend to her parents' Christmas party, and which turned into a coming out party, where her and her girlfriend both got drunk and they made a little Mary Mary underneath the Christmas tree at the party. So again, no drugs, no criminal behavior.
Just homosexuality.
She's just a lesbian who made out with her girlfriend at a family party. And he's like, "Nope, you gotta go here." And now we get
what kind of like alternative universe are we living in?
I know, it's bonkers. So now we have Matthew, plain boring Matthew, who had a perfect score on his military ASVAB test.
This one doesn't make any sense.
No, it makes no sense. And he refused to go into the Marines even after his general father pulled strings to get him in as an officer. And it turns out his brother was killed in Afghanistan.
So he's just a conscientious objector.
Yes, but yet he needs to go to jail or rehab.
He seems like a real troubled youth.
Yeah,
he's
so
intelligent.
troubled.
He's got leadership skills. He just doesn't want to go in the military.
Yeah. So now we go to Vinny, he's the one who wanted to get caught jerking off. And basically, he videotaped his stepmother cheating on his Wall Street father and posted the sex tape on a website. Again, no
nothing
rehab,
illegal.
No,
maybe invasion of I don't know, but still, that's a stretch.
It is a big stretch. And now Calvin, who is the one-legged black guy, he lost his leg and his girlfriend and his chance to play pro ball, which that's racist.
Yeah.
It's one black guy is the guy who can go play pro ball.
And what is ball?
Yeah.
What kind of ball?
It doesn't say football or basketball.
Baseball,
it just says
football,
ball.
basketball. What's ball? Yeah, you're right, because they'll give you no inkling of what sport.
Nope. Now we get to Mingwar Altima, he's just one of these weird kids who just popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
what a fucking name that is. Who would Mingwar Altima, Mingyur.
You would think that's like a ethnic name, someone who has an ethnic look about him,
Or maybe some kind of, I don't know if it's Asian or Arabic or what, but
right,
something.
Right. But
nope.
This guy, he just looks like a kid from the valley.
Yeah. He's here because he had sex with 2 underage girls. Now, I'm wondering if it's at the same time because they don't really say, but now that I can understand jail for. He
does try to clarify I was 19, they were 17.
Yeah.
Which is a very sad thing that does really happen from time to time.
Yeah. Now we get Melissa. She's the gothic dominatrix girl. And Rachel says she doesn't have anything on her at all. Like, there's no files on her.
She's a mystery.
So, why is she even here?
So I was a little hooked by that. I was like, okay, well,
but there's no payoff to that. There's nothing.
None. Yeah, because I was like, okay, well, this chick, she's got the interesting look. She's into horror movies, so let's maybe there'll be something more to her.
Yeah, nothing. And then Adrienne, she has a nervous. They said she had a nervous breakdown last year. She was committed to Byberry Mental Facility after attacking. Bum bum bum. Because Adrienne screams before Rachel can finish the sentence, and it cuts away to Robert watching them on the monitors and just smiling like a schmuck.
Eric Roberts.
So now we jump back to John, who's now back at the small town gas station / general store.
Yeah, chatting it up with
he's just
the
making
local clerk,
a little sandwich to go.
Yeah, he knows the clerk, and he talks to her. They're the good old days.
Yeah, John seems like a really outstanding guy. He's really nice and friendly. He wishes her the best. Good luck to you. Blah blah blah. And he gets his food. He says his goodbyes, and he starts to drive home. And as he's driving, he calls his wife to tell her that, hey, I'm coming home. This doesn't work out. I'm not going to do this. And he pulls out his sandwich, and he starts to eat his sandwich.
I was falling asleep at this part, too.
But after 2 bites of his sandwich, he begins coughing, gagging, and choking.
Choking on his tight shirt. His shirt just got tighter and tighter, and he's like,
There's no room for his stomach to expand.
I can't breathe. His shirt's so tight.
The 2 bites of sandwich made his stomach expand so much, his shirt couldn't take it. But he's able to pull the car over to where he falls out of the driver's seat, coughing up bits of sandwich. But he falls to the ground, choking, coughing, and he seems to die like Mama Cats. Kids, ask your parents or maybe even your grandparents who Mama Cats was.
He
chokes on the sandwich.
He didn't choke because he's breathing in and out,
right.
in and out. So he's not choking. He's not, from a medical standpoint, he's breathing fine. So I'm thinking, it's poison? What is this sandwich poison?
I thought that too, but it never comes back. There's no indication.
What's going on?
Yeah.
What the fuck was this about?
Yeah, it's pointless. It makes no sense.
None.
If it's just a random, he choked on a sandwich and died, well, that's random. But if it's poison, there's no callback to it later. There's
none.
We have no idea who would have poisoned her or how did he even know to poison that one particular
when you're going,
sandwich. Yeah.
You're breathing, so I can only think it's poison.
I don't know, but that death just bothers me so much.
Retarded. Tight shirt death. That's what it was.
Tight shirt. So
crushed by his tight shirt.
Back at the camp, Rachel's telling the kids just how the game works, like the reality show's going to work. And basically, just there's a killer on the loose, and you need to be the last one standing to win. If you're killed, a black cloth will be put over your cabin door for purpose of the show, to show that you're being eliminated. During all this, they will be working like real camp counselors and getting the camp ready to open as if it was a real camp. And there will also be tasks / challenges related to this, and that these are how they can earn immunity from being killed off, which is bullshit. There's only one of these, and they don't even finish it. So, again, it's nothing happened. Time passes. They're sitting around a fire talking. Matt starts questioning this whole thing, and he's like, this isn't adding up. Novak continues to be a major asshole.
Yeah, this guy's really got a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, he does.
Like he's the real antagonist of the story. Like, everyone keeps questioning his sexuality, but it's like mostly to get a rise out of him.
Yeah,
And
it's like
you just go, hey, you like dicks, don't you? I'll kill you.
I'll kill you.
He just gets so angry,
Like
so
roid rages
animated. It's pretty stupid.
Yeah. So Adrian now comes clean about her past and why she's here. And according to her, she killed her brother in self-defense, saying that he raped her for over a year. So one night while he was sleeping, she went into his room and stabbed him repeatedly. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, that is not self-defense. That's straight up murder. Justifiable perhaps, but still murder.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real slippery slope, I mean, you kind of have to...
I mean, if she killed him in the process of being attacked or raped, that would be self-defense. But he's sleeping and you just walk in and kill him? That's murder.
But if you're a victim for years and years and years, and he's a bigger guy, he was on the football team, that kind of thing. It's I could see it almost as a self-defense.
He could have been the punter
act.
for all we know.
Well, shit. Zing. Fuck you, punters.
Except Johnny Hacker. Johnny Hacker, you're awesome. You'll never hear this, but you're awesome.
Anyway, let's move on. But
so her parents then sent her away after she killed her brother. And by sent away, it really means locked up in the Byberry Mental Hospital. And she closes out her story saying her parents only came to see her once, and that was to tell her about this camp/show, and that if she did it, they would let her come back home.
yeah, the parents don't give a fuck about her.
No.
Adrian can suck it.
Well, she says, "Oh, the brother was the prize
Yeah, he was
student.
the-
He was the apple of their eye. He was number one.
He
Blah
was
blah blah.
He was one fine pig.
Yeah. He's a blue ribbon hog, that one. So more time passes. It's late now. Katie comes out of her shower to find Sarah sitting on her bed. And they both have an exchange why they're both here, which we already know why they're here because we
Right.
just went over that. And again, Katie says she's here because her parents threatened to cut her off money wise, which again doesn't make
It doesn't make any sense.
no, because and then Sarah says she had a choice of two camps. This one and a reprogramming camp where they think they can cure homosexuals.
Pray the gay away.
Yeah, pray the gay away camp. Sarah tells Katie that she I think we should stay together because there's safety in numbers. We'll take shifts sleeping. And so all right, fine. And next is a montage of everyone in their cabins either sleeping or lounging around reading the scripts, except for Novak, who's working out. And there's a knock on his cabin door, and he goes to answer it, but it cuts away again, so we don't know who was there, who he talks to.
Right.
We don't know nothing.
Yeah. And then they show in these camera angle views, and they have like a timer running at the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
So it's the the cameras that are running, because I want to talk about that later.
Okay. All right. So it cuts away the next morning where we get more montage of kids. They're goofing around, having their fun while Roberts just watches them from his control room lair. Yeah. And more time passes, and we come to the first challenge.
Yeah.
Which Rachel calls the American Gladiator Challenge, which is just Pugo sticks on the dock, and you try to knock your opponent into the water.
Yeah, and the dock they're fighting, I mean, it's not like a thin, like, catwalk type. I mean, it's a pretty big dock.
It's pretty solid.
You got to really knock the shit out of each other to knock each other off.
And first of all, these Pugo sticks, they're just kayak oars that somebody taped foam around the edges of.
Really dangerous.
They're really dangerous.
Really dangerous.
They're really dangerous. There's a thin line of foam around a kayak oar that they're just swinging
It's like
around.
a big chunk of wood, just whack. Just imagine
Well, they're not.
that.
They're wood, but they are solid, heavy plastic.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
They're still dangerous. So, Adrian Novak, they square off first.
Yeah, Novak's like, I'll do it. And Adrian's like, I got him. And let's face it, I mean, Adrian, she's a gal, but this Novak guy is pretty in
Well, at this
shape
point,
and-
they've kind of been going back and forth.
they've been
this year.
they've been
There's been
giving
some
each other
scenes.
shit. So anyway, they're gonna face
But
off.
Novak should destroy her. you
They're
would
gonna
think.
face off
And
American Gladiator style.
After an overly choreographed Pugo stick fight, Adrian wins, knocking
Gets the
Novak
best
into
of him, knocks him into the water.
Yeah. And he pops up, pulls her into water, and just starts drowning her right on the
He's
spot.
so mad. He jumps up, throws her into the water, and he starts like strangling her murder style.
Yeah.
Holding her under the water. And this is where we get an under the water cam shot of her drowning with the little numbers at the top. So this is one of those cameras that's being used. I was just like, what the fuck? I
Well-
was so annoyed by that.
No, okay, if that was the case, the only thing I could explain is because Robert's, they do all wear little cameras attached to them. So it could have been like Novak's camera or hers under the water.
Okay, but still, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, if it wasn't for that, I totally get you. Yeah, but they all were told they had to use little cameras on them at all times. So eventually he does let her go, and everybody rushes in to separate the two.
And he's like, "Oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
I was just playing.
Yeah.
I was just, doing it for the cameras."
Well, yeah, and now this takes us to Novak having his one-on-one counseling session with Rachel, where he tells her, like, I don't play well with others, and that he wanted everyone to think he was going to kill Adrian for the show. And he also mentions during the scene that he was told that there would be another, but we don't know what it means because, again, it changes topic. So it's almost like the old Star Wars, like Yoda, like, there is another, like, there's another Skywalker out there. He's not our only hope. There is another. But,
and this is where, the counselor's abilities are shown to be absolute dog shit.
Oh, awful.
Because he seems like he's kind of acting out, cry for help, and she's just shitting all over the place. Can't even, like, fathom anything that's going on.
No, awful counselor. And so Rachel's now talking to Robert, trying to find out who's playing the quote-unquote killer and who is actually going to be doing these eliminations. And Robert tells her he has a team that stays in town that comes out here as scheduled to prowl around and do their thing. That's his answer. And then she asks him who's putting up the prize money, if there really is $1 million prize, because she's starting to think something's off too.
Yeah, where's the money coming from? Where's your backer? Yeah.
And he tells her that he can't say, but that, hey, your check cashed, right? So don't worry about it.
So he's paid her. And apparently she's already cashed the check, and she's here to work. So there's obviously money coming from somewhere.
So now Katie and Cowan, the one-legged guy, are out jogging together. Matt goes to check on Adrian after the near-drowning experience. Cowan's talking about his motorcycle accident and how it killed his girlfriend. And he's doing this while his parents... he's running... I'm not parent. Again, really racist and cliche because he's running and his pants are so far down his ass that I'm surprised they're even staying on while he's running.
I didn't notice.
Dude,
Sorry.
And he's got like a towel tucked into our attic. I don't know
shirt.
how
it's
these...
his shirt.
Oh, the shirt? Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't know how those things were staying on. So, and it kind of reminds me, like, how these things are staying up remind me, like, how Adebisi's tiny little hat always stayed on in Oz. I always been wondering, like, how does that thing stay on? I thought about this kid's pants. How do they stay up? So, Katie gets a text all of a sudden saying that her account has been terminated. And then Calvin notices that he's not getting any reception, and even though he never canceled his service. Katie, for some reason, gives him a kiss at this point, and then
she kisses him, and he's like, "Okay." She's like, "I'll see you back at camp."
It's weird. Like,
and instead of him being like, "Sweet, I'm gonna be right up in that ass," coming with her, he just goes, and like continues his jog.
But again, that's so weird because up at this, there's no like meet cute between those two. There's no like them flirting or anything.
No.
It's just, hey, we have one conversation. Katie kisses him and then runs off.
Now, she is the promiscuous one, so maybe she's just into
everybody with a dick.
Yeah. Or not.
So, yeah, I don't know. I just found that really odd. It came out of nowhere. And so Calvin continues running. He goes on his own way. And he hears someone approach him from behind. He turns around and says, "Oh, shit. Hey." Like, he knows the person. And that's when he's pushed over.
Yeah,
and
he gets shoved. Oh, he gets pushed down.
And we hear the sounds of bones breaking as he hits the ground. So his one remaining shin bone is now now protruding through his skin.
So someone shoved him over, and from that shove, he sustained a compound fracture.
He's got the weakest bones. That's a serious calcium.
It's Mr. Glass's kid.
Yeah. Mr. Glass. Yeah, serious calcium issues. If that's how easily his bone just breaks.
It's just broke right out of his skin. He just got pushed over.
He's got bird bones.
And he's in great shape. This makes no sense. None.
He's in the best shape of all the guys here. Well, him and Novak are in good shape, but
he's ripped. He's in fantastic shape. He was supposed to be a pro athlete. Yeah. And he just breaks. He just shatters.
God, I hope it wasn't football, because, geez, I would be pro. He'd be dead.
God damn.
So now the killer, who we don't see, takes Calvin's fake leg off, just rips it off him, and then beats him to death with his own fake leg.
Beats to death with a fake leg. Unique. Haven't seen that one before.
So now we rejoin Katie as she's jogging. Novak comes out of nowhere. They bump into each other. He says like he went for a run around the lake or something. And she's like, hey, how do I know you're not the killer? And his response is, if I was, I'd fuck you to death. Now,
This guy's aggressive.
yeah.
Jeez.
Now,
calm down.
Cut to the two of them making out and getting ready to fuck each other in one of the cabins. And Katie just was kissing on Calvin like 5 minutes ago.
So we know that's her MO. She just wants the dick.
Yeah, like, but
She just
I don't like.
Sorry.
Meanwhile, it shows Adrian. She's sitting alone on a park bench, and Roberts is watching Katie and Novak having sex on the monitors. And we do see Katie does have some nice tits in this movie. Some very nice tits for her.
Nice tits. Nice tits, guys. Okay, so
Give the positives give credit where credit's due. Very nice tits. But Novak has trouble getting it up, and she's trying to jerk him off, but it's not working. And he tells her that he needs her to tell him not to fuck her.
So he can only get hard
If it's
when
like
a girl doesn't want
it
it.
was like not consensual.
So, ooh, that's
Yeah.
dark. That's pretty dark.
Yeah,
I
he's
can
like,
only get hard when someone doesn't want it.
yeah, she's like,
Ah.
she's like, tell me not to fuck you, tell me not to come in you, and tell me this, and then after a while, Katie's like, she starts getting like, fuck this, get off me, no, I'm done.
And he's like, yeah. So,
And-
like, the more she says, no, really, get off me, the more turned on he gets.
And he busts his nut, he busts all over her stomach, which.
They actually show.
Yeah, which I guess his boner is sticking out the top of his waistband because how that gets through the
so
underwear
she's
is
just
beyond
got
me. But
spooge all over, and they pan down like, hey, look at that, spooge.
Yeah, spooge.
Come on.
Which I was surprised they showed. Like
Yeah,
that's
you really don't see spooge shots.
no,
too
you
much.
really don't.
Which
Outside
is
porn, you don't really see
interesting.
that.
Yeah.
So Katie wipes her hand through the cum and then with the cum covered hand slaps Novak across the face, leaving the cum smeared on his cheek.
There's cum everywhere in this
Yeah,
movie. All right.
And she says, "Not
Bloody,
the first time
cummy
that's been
dread
there."
Camp.
Yeah, so she makes another gay joke. And of course that pisses Novak off, and he attempts to start strangling her.
Yeah.
But she's saved by a knock on the door. Novak threatens that if she tells anybody she's going to go home in a body bag, and we cut away again.
That's
So
it.
we never see who's knocking on these doors. It's like the third time we get somebody knocking on a door. And so time passes again at this point, and people start realizing that Calvin is missing and assume that he's been eliminated from the show. Rachel hangs a black cloth over the cabin of the door guy with good hair, and he's like, all right, now I guess I have to go do this for Calvin. She moves on. She's joined by Melissa, the gothic girl, and inside Calvin's cabin, they find all of his stuff still there. It's like, wait a minute. And so they find that's a little odd. Why is this stuff still there?
Yeah,
if
so he's
been
gone.
eliminated?
Why didn't he take any of his
Yeah.
stuff? Yeah.
And so Rachel tells her that she has an idea, but again, it changes scenes before we can find out what it is. Now it's nighttime. Rachel breaks into Robert's cabin, takes his laptop, which by some way, I'm sorry, I highly doubt this place has Wi-Fi, because every time we see someone using this laptop, it's plugged into nothing.
And why is it a ThinkPad? Who uses a ThinkPad
That's
anymore?
true, yeah.
You know, I mean, ThinkPads, I guess, are usually in business and stuff, I guess, but I don't know anyone who owns a ThinkPad.
I don't know anybody who owns one either.
I've seen someone at work with a ThinkPad, but it was like, that's it.
I don't understand the point of one. Like, just
I don't either. I
get it.
don't know.
It's like Palm Pilots, and it's like, why?
Yeah,
why?
Weird.
So, but yeah, it's never plugged in. There's no Ethernet cable, but it's always working. She starts looking through the files, and she finds storyboards for the show, and she keeps saying like shit over and over again. So she's seeing stuff that she doesn't believe. And eventually, we notice that the storyboards are coinciding with exactly everything that's happened up to this point in the movie. We see good hair guy's death with an arrow through his eye. We even see the sex scene between Novak and Katie. It's storyboarded
it just happened.
Like so
He's storyboarding out everything.
yeah. So then we see pictures of Novak and Adrian, and next to both of them, it reads possible antagonists 1 and 2, and then just lists out why they would make good killers. But I'm not going to list them all, but it's like homicidal tendencies, you know, other psychological background traits.
And
like
I guess the
listed.
number ones are Adrian and Novak.
Novak,
or
yeah,
like the top,
those are the only two
yes,
you see.
the top
Yeah, 1 and
ones
2.
or whatever. Yeah.
So at this point, Rachel hears Roberts pulling up outside. She rushes to shut down the laptop, Before he can catch her, she sneaks out the back door. Then we see her slide a flash drive under Melissa's door, and she loads up onto her laptop, which, again, like, why is she the only one with a laptop?
Yeah.
Nobody else has shit here. Like, they brought, like, basically one bag of clothes.
Yeah, like, it's
and that's
camp.
it. Yeah.
It's like you leave all that stuff behind, you focus on yourself kind of crap.
Yeah.
You don't bring your laptop, you don't bring your
It's a
iPad.
reality, and you want, you
Yeah.
know, this is 2014, so it's not like, you know, the social media around it. Shows have locked that shit down.
Big
not
time,
giving spoilers.
yeah.
But she's like somehow has a laptop.
Why would they even have their fucking phones?
Exactly.
It's basically computers.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they are computers. So.
Exactly. So back to Rachel. She loads the flash drive up and starts going. And we go to Rachel. She's getting ready for bed. Robert shows up saying he saw her on the cameras outside the office, so I figured we needed to talk. And he also tells her that Calvin was just at Calvin's cabin picking up his things so they can be sent home, which again we know is a lie. And she asks him where he is and if he said anything, and Roberts tells her that he's back in town and he was surprised at who the killer was. Wake up! Wake up! He goes on to say, confronts her again about telling her that the studio. Robert confronts her about telling the studio that he was unfit to direct the summer camp remake, and that she was offered an executive producer spot in the film. So it's just airing out more dialogue and more drama between the two, trying
Which
to set
doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, blah blah blah. But he goes on to say it doesn't matter because the remake's been greenlit, and with me directing, all I need is the ending. And we jump to Melissa on her laptop. She finds something that makes her say, "Oh my god," and run out of the cabin. And Rachel she's alone in her cabin, and she hears more knocking on the door. Surprise, surprise. But when she opens it, there's nobody there. Now we see the killer dressed in all black, dragging a tied-up Melissa away towards the lake.
Yeah, we don't see her get caught
No.
or anything. She just
She
gotcha.
runs out of the cabin. Next thing you know, she's caught bound. She's all tied up. And the killer drags her to the end of the docks. She's trying to struggle. And we get a shot of someone watching the control room, which we assume is watched because he's got old man hands. And
Old man.
well, not that old, but you can tell they're definitely
Yeah.
hands of an older person.
Eric Robert hands.
Eric Robert hands. And Melissa's lip ring gets caught on a nail on the docks. She gets ripped out of her as the killer tosses her laptop into the lake. And Melissa says, "You better hope I don't float," and then just starts laughing like a crazy goth person or something.
Which she is.
Yeah. And then the killer just like kicks her in the water. She sinks.
Just
she drowns.
Rolls her in the water.
Yeah.
So
She's gone now. Fade to black.
what an anticlimactic death.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I liked her. She was interesting. We didn't see her get caught. We didn't see what she was trying to upload to the computer. She was kind of going to be kind of an interesting antagonist of the story.
She had potential. I'd say
Yeah.
she did potential to be more than what she
Right,
was, way
yeah.
more than what she was. So I'm skipping ahead a few scenes because it's just kids working on various tasks around the camp, like cleaning up and doing bullshit. And to clean the gutters, Matt finds a hidden wire which leads him to a cell phone signal blocker. He turns it off, and they now all have cell phones again.
Yay! We're free.
Yeah. Then Sarah gets a text that reads, "Where are you? I called your house. Your mom said you left, but she doesn't know where. What the fuck? Call me." And it immediately gets a note saying your account's been suspended. So no, her service was canceled again, just like I guess what was it, Katie's or
Yeah.
something. Back in the kitchen, Ming War, whatever his fucking name is, he's doing some cleaning, and he hears noises coming from the walk-in freezer. So of course he goes inside, which is suddenly working now. It's icy. I mean, you see like
Yeah,
the
it's
cold
cold.
air, and he pulls out a cell phone, notices he has reception, but then the door closes behind him, locking him in. He uses his phone as a flashlight and finds that the dead and frozen bodies of some of the kids, and I think John's there all of a sudden too. I don't know why he's there.
Yeah.
Well, but his body's in the freezer now, and
Yeah, the guy who died of a tight shirt attack.
Yeah.
Is now chopped up in the freezer.
yeah, it's like what?
What the fuck?
So he starts screaming, banging on the door for help, but out of nowhere he gets stabbed in the back, and then his body's like somehow lifted off the ground. And I call major bullshit on this kill, like super bullshit.
How could this happen?
Yeah, like where the fuck does the killer come from? I mean, is
It's
there
a
secret
small walk-in
Yeah.
freezer.
Is there a
He's
secret
It's
passageway?
only one way in.
Yeah.
And he's banging on it, trying to get out. How can someone come up from behind him and kill? What is going on?
Yeah, the door
Huh?
never opens once it's shut. It's not a big room. he'd easily be able to see if somebody else was in there besides the dead bodies. So the only other theory I have is that the killer was lying in wait in the cooler, just like lying there under
waiting for someone to come in.
which is makes no
Bullshit.
sense.
Ugh.
That makes no sense. So back at the pavilion, the remaining kids, except for Adrian, are sitting around talking about the cell phone jammer and asking why our accounts are all canceled. Rachel enters the kitchen. She hears thumping, opens the freezer, finds the dead bodies. She screams.
Eek.
Turns out the one guy is still barely alive. He's hanging on a meat hook. She backs out of the freezer and gets grabbed from behind and pinned down on like the countertop or something. She struggles. She's trying to reach like the hot water hose. But the killer is like able to like grab a bottle of some sort of like green liquid and pours it down her throat. And it looks like antifreeze, only it's green. And apparently it turns out to be acid.
Because like smoke starts coming out of her mouth.
Yeah, as soon as it touches her skin, she begins burning, and we hear like the hissing sounds, like flesh burning, and smoke's rising off of her and out of her mouth. And the acid like burns through her throat.
Like small little holes in her throat start to come out, and he's spraying the hose into her mouth, and you can see like water squirting out of her neck.
There's like blood and like pus like coming out of her neck, which is a decent effect for this movie. It's probably one of the better effects in this movie. So that's it. She's gone. She's done.
Which is a big character.
Yeah, gone. We cut to Adrian. She's in the shower running a razor blade over her skin. And suddenly someone tosses a football jersey with the number 7 on it into the shower. She screams, "No!" after seeing the number 7 on it. So I'm guessing this is like her brother's
football jersey.
Yeah, brother's number. We catch up with Sarah and Katie, who are lounging on the bed in their underwear. Katie goes to take a shower, and while that happens, Matt is trying to convince Vinny to go look for Rachel to see if they have a car so they can go like get help and see about leaving. Novak objects to this because he doesn't want to get eliminated. Suddenly, Adrian pops up, throwing the jersey at Novak, calling him a sick fuck. They argue. She's blaming him for this. And Novak says, "I would kill every last one of you before I get eliminated," and then walks off. So someone's trying a bit hard here to set up. It's Vinny heads off to his cabin. Adrian says she's going to stay with Matt for safety in numbers. Vinny comes across one of the cameras attached to the tree. He takes it down. He starts going through the footage, which at this point, this have to be still pictures. It's
right.
Yeah. So he's like clicking and going through the pictures, and as he's going through images, we can tell he starts seeing something that's not right. Something is, something visually disturbing. We cut to Matt and Adrian. They're knocking on Robert's cabin door. There's no answer. Vinny then gets a length of barbed wire wrapped around his neck, which pulls it tight and like pins him to the tree, and it just gets pulled tighter and tighter, and like
you can see it kind of bursting into his neck.
Yeah, like it's
bursting through the
like
skin.
halfway through his neck. Near he takes his head
waiting
off.
for the head to pop off.
I kept waiting for that too.
Yeah, but it never did.
No, it doesn't happen. So now he's dead. Vinny's gone. Adrian sees headlights of a car approaching, but again, it cuts away. There's so many goddamn cutaways that make no sense.
Yeah, it's like, okay, something's happening. Nah.
Like, who cares?
Ah, you think something's gonna happen? Here we go.
Nah.
Gadoosh! It's gone. Just gone.
So we go back.
I gotcha, sucker. Gotcha again.
So we go back to Katie in the shower, and the camera switches to show us Matt and Adrian entering the control booth, where we see the camera footage that's being recorded all at the print time. It's Katie's in the shower on one of the monitors, and then like them and all this stuff. Matt finds a satellite phone, calls his dad. The call gets disconnected as soon as the father answers. He calls back and just gets the answering machine now. So Adrian tries to call next. And by the way, this is not a satellite phone. It's just a goddamn basic cordless phone. That's all it is. I've seen satellite phones. They like flip up antennas. They're very unique.
Fancy.
This is just a goddamn
phone.
Yeah. She calls her mom, gets an answer. She's like, Mom. But as soon as like
Mom hangs up on that.
Mom
bitch.
hangs up.
She's like, what? Oh shit.
Matt asks, like, hey, what happened? What's going on? Adrian says that her mother said over the phone that her daughter is dead. So, what? Something going on. Back to Katie, shaving her legs in the shower, and again, from out of nowhere, a fucking machete comes in, slices a chunk of her leg off like a steak at a Brazilian steakhouse, or like gyro meat or something like that.
Yeah.
And,
it shaves,
it's just like a
shaves
giant,
off a nice chunk of leg.
I mean, yeah. It's,
yeah.
like
I
beef
think I'm gonna-
jerky or something.
Think I'm gonna cut that up, fry with some onions, put a little bit of tzatziki on there, some tomatoes, roll it in a pita, and serve it.
Yeah.
Just comes right off.
So meanwhile, Adrian and Matt, they spot dead Vinny on one of the cameras. They rush out to go like, oh, we gotta get to the girls. We gotta warn them. So the camera switches back to Katie crawling out of the bathroom, wrapped in a shower curtain, leaving a trail of blood behind her. Novak walks out of the bathroom holding a machete while Katie continues to struggle and crawl to the bed, where she finds a newly murdered Sarah dead on the bed.
Yep. So
You
know
don't even
how she
see
died.
dead. Yeah, she's just dead.
She's dead.
So Novak stands over Katie, who's begging for her life, and just starts hacking away at her with the machete. Just brutally hacking her.
So there's your killer. It appears.
Yeah.
So it appears. It's been Novak the whole time.
And he delivers the killing blow by stabbing her through the stomach. And he's like, he didn't ask her, am I hard enough for you now, bitch? Or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, what? Come on.
Boo.
So Matt and Adrian slowly enter the girls' cabin. They find the bloody and dead bodies on the bed. Matt slips on the blood, falls on the floor. Novak rushes up the stairs toward Adrian, but she's able to close the door before he can get her. He drops the machete during the struggle with the door. Matt picks it up, hacks into Novak's hands, like right between like the middle and index finger.
Yeah,
or
it's pretty
middle and ring finger.
Pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
And he goes howling off into the woods.
He withdraws. He takes off. So Matt and Adrian now make a run for it. They end up in the kitchen where, again, they hear something. This is the third time now somebody's heard something in the kitchen. He opens the freezer.
Stay out of the fucking kitchen.
Yeah. He opens the freezer door to find the bodies. Adrian screams out of fear.
And she's screaming a lot.
Yeah. Matt's trying to calm her down, tells her that no one's going to get in here, that they're safe in here. There's only 2 ways in. Only two. Yeah, the cabins have 1. I think you're a little safer. But she's like, no one's going to get in here. I'm going to protect you. It's got to stay safe. She's like, and then Adrian's like, oh, there's a gun in the boathouse. We got to get the guns. Like, we will. We'll get that in the morning. Blah, blah, blah. So they waited out till morning. Morning comes. The 2 of them exit the dining hall, being extra careful and very quiet. And then they take off and run for the boathouse to get the gun. And when they get there, they find the gun's gone. Uh-oh. And on that cue, gunshot rings out, and we see that a bloody and now weakened Novak outside the window with the gun. They run
He's
out.
stumbling. He's bleeding a whole lot. So he's kind of, like you said, in compromised state.
Yeah. So they run out of the boathouse. But Adrian now decides to trip Matt. She intentionally trips him and then kicks him in the stomach, picks up the machete he dropped, and then with 2 good hacks, cuts off his head. What? What?
Get the fucking God!
So
Why are you doing this?
Novak then shoots at her again but misses. She picks up Matt's head and runs for cover and tries to lure him in a little closer. She waits for him to run out of ammo to make her move. And what is her move? Well, this is her move. Adrian takes Matt's decapitated head and places it in a giant watermelon slingshot and launches the head at Novak. The bloody decapitated head of Matt smashes straight into Novak's face, killing him.
It's like breaking his skull.
Yeah, but
like
you see
breaking...
like his skull's like cracked open on top, like seriously, like an egg just cracked. Right. Adrian screams in joy and starts laughing in approval. Out comes Eric Roberts clapping like slow golf claps.
What is happening?
And congratulates her on a brilliant performance. And he tells her that she gave him a great ending, that no one has ever been killed that way before. And Adrian's like, hey, I did okay. And she's like, honey, you deserve an Academy Award for your performance. And she's like, okay. She is like, hey, what about the call to my mom? That do they really believe she's dead? And then Robert picks up the gun, says, oh, baby, I'm afraid that part of it is true. He tells her, at this point, he says that her and all of their parents, including hers, paid him a lot of money to have them all killed. So Roberts now shoots Adrian and says, fucking actors, twirls the gun, and walks off. Blackout. What?
So we're pretty confused at this point, and here we have, we come back and we see.
Yeah, we're almost done. We're gonna come back and re-talk about it and try to straighten this out once we get through this. So now we see more audition footage from like we did from the very beginning, and this time all the kids have been asked how they feel about death and if they think they've been good children to their parents.
Yeah,
and we see all their various answers. And we cut to the sheriff's SUV driving towards the camp. And then we see Danielle Harris pulling Melissa's dead body out of the lake. And we cut to Harris talking to Roberts behind a truck. And we see like the arm of her deputy kind of hanging out the bed of the truck. Looks like he's just kind of lounging there. And she tells him, and Robert's like, hey, don't, stop thinking so much. And he says that she says that Michael and her were never very close anyway, and that there was too much to lose, so she killed her brother. So she murdered her brother because of this. And Robert says that, hey, look at it this way, look at it like a public service, because they were all truly bad eggs. Which we've already said, they're really not.
They're not that bad of people. Yeah. And
she says that and then Daniel's like, hey, so the guy my father turned you on to worked out after all. So we don't know who she's referring to, but again, it's that connection. And it turns out that they got paid $2 million per kid.
And there's like 10, 13 kids
at
here.
least 10. And he calls
so
Rachel.
There's 10. There's got to be 10.
Yeah, it's 10. It's 10 kids. Mm-hmm. He calls Rachel, John, and the brother props. They're just props in this. And he calls the brother then a MacGuffin. Now, Harris comes back saying she doesn't know what that means, that she doesn't watch horror movies. Excuse me. And so that brings us to this week's educational moment.
Ooh.
And for those of you that don't know, a MacGuffin is an object or device in a movie or book that serves merely as a trigger for the plot. So that's a MacGuffin.
Okay.
Harris
Short and sweet.
Yeah. So Harris goes on to say that after she gets her cut, he can make his movie for $18 million. So Harris is only getting $2 million out of this deal. So, and she's got a lot to lose being a sheriff and all this stuff. And she murdered her fucking brother.
She's not playing with the full deck there, Marshall. She's not quite playing with the full deck.
Roberts tells her that she really should have watched more horror movies, and then hits her over the head with a shovel.
Ba-bong.
Bonk, knocking her onto the bed of the truck. The camera goes to an above shot that shows the bed of the truck filled with all the bodies of the dead kids, like half in trash bags, half not. And Harris slumped over the tailgate. A slow zoom out. Roll credits. That's the fucking movie.
What?
So there's so many questions that don't make sense about this movie.
So let's just start from the backwards forward.
Okay.
So going back, we just find out that this has been a whole elaborate scheme to kill the youth of disgruntled parents.
Yeah.
So these parents are so fed up with their kids, so upset with them that they want them dead. They want them fucking dead. And they're willing to pay $2 million to have their kids killed.
And I want to talk about that for one second, because if we remember from earlier, Matt's dad was a general in the Marines. Now, you do not get rich in the military.
Oh, maybe he got some of that Saddam money. And they invaded those
saying,
palaces. Maybe he stuffed a few gold bars
you
in
get
his
more
pants.
You make a pretty good living at that point. But I don't think any general, I could be completely wrong, but I don't think any generals have $2 million just lying around.
Yeah, disposable,
and would kill their own kids. Military men are pretty honorable.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, why would you murder your kid? Just because he didn't want to go in the Marines, fuck you, kid, I'm killing you?
Well, let's also look at, okay, my kid's gay. I'm going to kill that
her.
bitch.
I know all these kids were...
My kid had an abortion. I'm going to kill her. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
My kid was raped by my horrible son, and that, well...
She killed my son, but I'm going to kill her, even though it's justifiable. Like, poor her.
It's fucking crazy.
It makes no sense.
None. And the whole, elaborate setup to have this movie and do all this stuff.
Who, his father kills him because he outed his cheating stepmother. The father should be paying him $2 million as a reward.
Yeah, be like,
thank you, son.
Thanks.
For calling my cheating bitch wife.
You found my gold-digging bitch wife.
Yes, but no, I'm going to kill you.
What is going on?
None of these make any sense of why they should be in this camp, why they should be murdered, and have these parents, how they even have $2 million lying around in the first place.
This is bonkers. It's stupid. It's so dumb.
So,
and why would you go through all this fucking rigmarole, have these possibility of them leaving, have them with their cell phones, they can get away at any moment. I don't get it. Why didn't you just, when you had them all together, fucking kill them then?
Yeah. you just shot him. Just go bam, 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 bam.
Just finish. I get he's trying to make the movie.
Yeah.
And he wants to see how it plays out, but use some fucking imagination on your own,
But
man.
you got $20 million.
Yeah.
Just
Make
kill.
your fucking movie.
You
Yeah,
make your
start
movie.
filming.
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense. The concept is unique and a little interesting, but it fucking didn't work at all.
It fell apart.
They just fucked it up.
I'll give him credit for the concept, but the execution was
Piss poor.
Piss poor.
Piss poor,
Yeah.
Marshall Hampton.
pissing poor. So, all right, let's move on to our favorite kills.
There can be only one. Favorite kill?
All right, Aaron, what's your favorite kill? This and let's just for number's sake, there are 12 kills in this movie. 12 total kills.
That's a lot of kills. Huh. Well, let's yeah. I don't know. I guess my favorite kill is probably the Drano kill.
Drano.
Yeah, I like the Drano kill because I did like the effect, the smoke. I mean, to be perfectly honest, it's like I thought Rachel was going to be more of a character in the, at least be the last standing or something like that.
I thought you'd make it a little closer to the end.
Sure,
too.
but she was killed pretty abruptly, and so I kind of like that in a way. So I'm going with the Drano kill.
All right. I'm going to be choked on sandwich. That's my favorite. No, I'm totally bullish. Fuck that guy.
Too tight of a shirt.
No, I like the Drano kill, the acid Drano, where the fuck it is. But I think I'm just gonna go with the final kill. Not Adrian getting shot, but Novak getting smashed in the face by a decapitated head. Just because that's just sheer lunacy. It's ridiculous that kill. Just so that's one of my favorite because I was like, what? Like that's hilarious. But yeah, so that's my favorite kill. Novak decapitated head kill. All right, so moving on to odds and ends.
Not only did they watch these films, they researched them too. Ugh, what is wrong with these guys?
All right, starting off with our ratings. IMDb gives it a 3.9 out of 5. Rotten Tomatoes has, again, no official tomato meter score, thermometer, whatever they call it.
You've always had trouble with that one.
Well,
you can't decide if it's
I don't know
thermometer or tomato meter
or thermometer. It could be.
I like thermometer.
You like thermometer?
I do like thermometer.
All right. Well, I'll try. Remember, it'll be thermometer from now. I'll try to remember that. And it only had a 6% audience score. That makes it one of the bottom movies we've done.
Yeah.
That's really low.
That is incredibly.
I mean,
low.
that's down like Wicked's territory.
Like further.
Yeah.
Deeper.
I have to look at that. It's pretty bad. I think our lowest is a 5%, so that's pretty good.
Oof, that's close contender.
Because the average score of all the users, I think they're like 75 users or something like that. Right? The average score is 1.9. And then Amazon, I don't even know why I bothered Amazon, but it's 3.5 of 3.5 out of 5.
That's what I was gonna guess.
Plot keywords. There weren't a whole lot. I actually wrote all of them down because there's barely any.
Wow.
Slasher, gore, camp, nudity, teen horror, blood, blue panties, and panties.
Blue panties.
I guess Katie was wearing blue underwear at one point.
Okay.
Who knows? But man, the panty lovers love putting panties on
They
these
do,
things,
man. Those little panty sniffers are a unique
That's
bunch.
become such a common like panties. It's like Jesus.
Calm down, guys. Calm down.
Yeah. So yeah, not much in the way of plot keywords this week. And trivia. There was really only one bit of trivia I could find for this, and the film was shot at a real summer camp in the Poconos.
Ooh, the Poconos.
Well, of Pennsylvania. The camp's actually for disabled children, so it's a disabled children's camp.
Oh,
But-
so that one guy'd fit in just well.
But this, after seeing the camp, like this had to be the worst camp for disabled kids because if you notice,
Hills.
every cabin had stairs. There were no ramps anywhere in this movie.
So handicapped children, is it for like mentally handicapped?
All I
you
found
know?
is this disabled. It just
Okay.
said disabled. So I don't know if it's mental or physical or both. But
Yeah.
either way, no ramps, just stairs everywhere. Nothing. It was very.
You're going to
isolated.
learn self-reliance, kids. That's what you're going to learn at this camp.
Yeah. And that's it. That was all I could find for trivia on this week. There's very little on this movie. And speaking of also very little, unfortunately, I could not find the budget for this movie either, so we do not have a budget game this week to play.
Well, that's a shame because I mean I was thinking about it and I'm thinking the majority. This is what I was thinking, man. Eric Roberts, brother, you've been in some pretty good stuff in the last like 10 years. I mean, you were in the
Best of the best. We know. We got it.
wasn't aside from Best of the Best and Best of the Best 2. But I mean, he was in Batman. He was in The Dark Knight Returns. He was the bad guy in Expendables. So I mean, he's done some good, pretty decent stuff. What was going on, man?
Paycheck.
Oh my god!
As I said in my
yes.
opening, I'm pissed at Danielle Harris. Like, I love Danielle Harris, and her role is so disappointing. When I see her on the board, Danielle Harris, and she's feeding, like, all right, this is gonna be in it, and she's in for 5 minutes. And points. And both her, I think both Eric Roberts and her just fucking phoned it in. She's like, I'm doing this for the paycheck.
Totally.
It was totally phoned in.
Yeah, totally agree.
So,
And just again, the acting in this whole movie, the whole acting. I mean, these guys I know they're no-name actors and actresses, but Jesus fucking Christ, take a lesson or something. A little emotion here or there.
what would you have guessed would have been the budget? If we, I don't have an answer, but what would you have guessed?
Well, it definitely was just a Pat Eric Roberts, pocket. So let's just say Mr. Roberts wanted $75,000 for this, which isn't unreasonable. I'd probably go $200,000 just because of Eric
Honestly,
Roberts.
I probably bust my look because I was probably gonna go like the $2 million range.
Oh no.
Because, I don't know, I mean, Danielle Harris, Eric Roberts, the effects weren't that bad. The production quality was decent. I mean, it wasn't like great. Like, it wasn't shot on a back camera. So, and it was made in 2014, so prices could go up. Or made in 13, released in 14, I don't know.
Okay.
And then Roberts, I'm just thinking, by the time it had salaries and everything, I would have just guessed $2 million.
I'm going to go 5. I'll meet you closer, not halfway.
You don't have to change your answer. That's just my answer.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm sticking with 250.
Yeah, stick with your answer. You don't have to change it.
Because we don't know.
You don't know. We have no answer. So that brings us to 5-star reviews.
These special movies have a place in these special people's hearts. 5-star reviews.
All right, 5-star reviews here.
Are there any?
Oh yeah, there were a decent amount actually.
What?
They're like 2 pages worth.
What? Oh,
So from
I'm going to sleep.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I guess it's Mike Satan, spelled MYK SAITEN. Satine, Mike Satine. I don't know. This one is pretty funny. Plus, you get Danielle Harris, Eric Roberts, and Felissa Rose. 3 good reasons to watch anything. This one has made its way into my regular horror movie watching rotation. Oh, and to all the negative reviewers, I'm gonna give this one 5 stars. That's for you. Last word. 5 stars.
That's funny. He says last word because that's a stupid phrase that they use in that movie.
Yeah.
Last words. Fuck you, Michael. That was a horrible movie.
From an Amazon customer. Camp Dread to me signifies that horror movies that are released direct to video and on demand can be quite more intriguing and deliver more than the ones that make it to the theaters these days. Being a rare product of our current time, that being not a remake or a reimagining, it's shown that horror films can deliver the kind of fun and shock that we've come to love back in the day. No doubt it's a spiritual successor to the Sleepaway Camp series, mainly because of Felicia Rose and the Campgrounds. 5 stars.
Boo.
So
You're
basically,
wrong.
because it takes place at a camp and happens to star a girl, it's Sleepaway Camp. No, it's
it
Jesus
has nothing
Christ.
to do with Sleepaway Camp.
And then it closed out with, "Get this on Blu-ray now, damn it!" 5 stars. That's the closing line.
No.
Last 2 from Johnny. Took my whole family to see it when it played in PA. 5 stars.
Poor kids. But I guess it's a hometown film kind of thing.
I guess. And Tammy Van Doggen. Last one here. I gathered my family to watch Camp Dread with me as I had worked at the camp where it was filmed during my teens. My husband and I actually met there one summer. I wanted to watch it for the novelty factor, and we ended up really enjoying it. Reminiscent of the slasher films of my youth, there were plot twists enough with every character type being represented. Watch it. You won't be disappointed, even if you didn't swim the lake there or walk the creepy paths at night. 5 stars.
Ugh.
So that's it. Let's move on to just wrap this up, man. What final Final thoughts, man. What do you got this week?
It just sucked. I'm sorry. This whole film sucked. I mean, I fell asleep twice watching it. Twice. And I had to, like, sit up and stand and walk around a little bit. Because, I mean, there's so many things that are kind of missing from this movie. I mean, aside from good acting and a good story. But, I mean, there's no good music. There's no, like, even the filler scenes are so dry and boring. I mean, I'm sorry, I literally dozed off while watching this movie. So bad it's scary.
So bad it's scary from Aaron. I was expecting more. Like, I was thinking about, it's not that bad. Like, we've seen a lot worse. But, yeah, you're right. It's boring. Like, it's not so bad it's good. And it's not the worst we've seen. It just kind of, But because of the fact it had, like, people like Eric Roberts and Danielle Harrison, who I think, at this point, I don't even know why she's in it, just to get paycheck, I guess. And I never thought I'd say it's so bad it's scary for a Danielle Harris movie because I've always enjoyed her work. But since she's barely in it, I don't really consider it a movie. And the fact that we talked about how the plot makes zero sense with the kids who are getting killed who shouldn't be killed in the first place. Right. So the idea was there, but the execution failed. And the fact it was boring and it's very forgettable. It's not memorable. It's not so bad. It's you can watch it because it's, you know, memorable for its badness. It's just boring and blah. So on that alone, I'm going to say so bad it's scary as well.
All right.
It's just kind of,
Blech.
It could have been so much better. It should have been better.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda,
yeah,
but
it just falls flat for what it is. So, yeah, there you go. That's it this week. Too bad. So bad it's scary for both of us.
Yeah, and actually it's last like 5 I think we've all enjoyed. But
surprisingly turned out being pretty decent. Like
this one
broke
the streak.
Yeah, let's see. Good. Yeah, almost the last like 7 or have all been like 5. It's like have been all good.
This one does not.
This one breaks the chain. Yeah,
I gotta shake it off.
Shake it off. Shake it off. I don't know.
Are you channeling Taylor Swift?
No. No.
On that note,
I'm not going there. I actually hate that song.
Let's wrap it up.
All right. Yeah. Remember,
wrap it up.
Next weekend, this upcoming weekend, we will be at the St. Louis Horror Convention, Contamination. You can check us out if you can be in the area. Come see the booth, see the whole show. Check it. It'll be fun.
Oh, before we go, also, I would like to give a shout out to Carrie from Kansas City. I just got back from Kansas City. Went and saw The Cure with my wife. I was wearing my Horrible Horror shirt. This guy started talking to me, suggested some movies. So big shout out to Carrie in Kansas City.
All right. Now, yeah, that said, check out our Facebook page. Keep updated with us there. Check out our website, horriblehorrorpodcast.com. You can follow us on Twitter at So Bad It's Scary. We're also on Instagram at Horrible Horror Podcast. And then you can download and listen to the show on Podbean at horriblehorror.podbean.com, as well as iTunes, where you subscribe to it so it's automatically updated. If you're feeling generous and like it, give us 5 stars, leave us a little review on the iTunes as well. Or you can email us at sobaditsscary@gmail.com for any suggestions, comments, anything you want to say, throw it at us. More than happy to check it out. And that note, we'll be back in a week. We'll be at the convention, so that's going to be a good time. Take care, Moon Goons. And in the meantime, keep it tight.